the brand new Mahindra XUV300. Yes, it's not the 300, but it's the 300 as Mahindra would like us to pronounce. Now this is the latest entrant in the compact SUV segment. This goes up against the likes of the Maruti Vitara Brezza, the Hyundai Creta, Tata Nexon, Renault Duster and the works. I know I've mentioned two different parts of the segment where there's the Creta and the Brezza, but such is the pricing of this car is that it fits in both segments and it goes against both cars. Let's see how this car is. As you can see, this is actually based on the SsangYong Tivoli. Yes, this is actually a rebadged SsangYong, which is Mahindra been doing recently with the Alturas G4 and this. So this is actually a SsangYong Tivoli, but there are minor alterations that Mahindra has done on their own level to launch it in the India market. First changes you can see is the grille. This is not the grille that the SsangYong comes with. This is what Mahindra has done for their own model for India. It's got the typical multi-chrome grille, which is also very similar to what you can find nowadays on the current gen XUV500. Rest, overall the silhouette is very much the same, and I think it's a good looking car, maintains a good balance between striking and classy at the same time. Coming to the rear of the car, you can see it's got very smart looking taillights, and it's got just two badgings on the rear. One that mentions the XUV300 and one that mentions the variant. This is the W8 top end optional variant with all the bells and whistles you could ask for, but more on that later. So when you do come around the rear of the car, you would feel that you would like to see the boot space of this car, but you're in for a big surprise. When you open the power tailgate, you are greeted to a very tiny 257 litre boot. That's right, it's only 257 litres. Rivals are providing over 400 litres of boot space, but this has only 257 litres of boot space. And I've demonstrated with a backpack, and I think I can fit maximum maybe one, maybe two more backpacks. That's it. How would you go holidaying in such a car? Coming to the interior of this car, and overall it's a great place to be. The ergonomics are spot on, and everything comes in your field of vision and field of sight, and you don't have to stretch to operate anything in this car. Overall the interior is really nice. It's again borrowed from the Tivoli. Not much modification has been done from Mahindra from their side to launch it in India, but overall it's nice. You have a nice touch screen in the center console. You've got air controls. Yes, this car actually has dual zone climate control, which is a segment first. Kudos to Mahindra for that. Then you have the steering wheel with all the controls on the steering wheel. You've got the cruise control, you've got the volume and the calls. Rest, it's a very fuss-free car, nothing else. The touchscreen is actually not bad. It's slightly derived from the Marazzo. It's got all the bells and whistles you could ask for, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay and the works. But it is a little laggy, could be a bit more responsive compared to its rivals like the Brezza or the Nexon or even the Creta for that matter. They do have more responsive new touchscreen system. This could do with that, but again, not a deal breaker. This is the instrument console of the XUV300 and it's quite informative actually. I was actually quite surprised to see how much information this carries. So there's trip A, trip B, there's distance to empty, your average fuel economy and an instantaneous fuel economy as well. Then there is the digital speedometer, there is temperature, there is settings. Now this is very interesting. Once you go inside the settings, you lead to a host of settings, so you can change the color of the instrument dial. So right now it's white. Yeah, so if I go to cluster settings, I can change, say, from day. So I can set a different light for the speedometer in the daytime and a different one for nighttime. So this is really annoying. Color settings, I can change to red, I can change to yellow, I can change to blue, I can change it to blue again. There's sky blue and normal blue. Okay, that's a little weird, but I can change the modes, and that's pretty cool. That's something you can fool around with and create moods in the car at that time. Pretty nifty feature though. So I'm seated in the back of the XUV300 and the overall seat back is fine. It's not so bad. And I have the driving seat adjusted to my driving position. I'm 5'8", and this ample legroom. Thigh support is a little less. You can see that my thigh is here, but it ends right here. So it's Not ideal in thigh support, but legroom is not an issue at all. Overall, I think it's a great place to be. As you can see, there are cup holders in the door pocket. You can put a full-size bottle in that, which is nice, and some small knickknacks in the side here. And these exist in the back. I don't know what these are. These are to basically hold your stuff. I don't think these are going to be as effective as normal seat pockets, but they exist nonetheless. I don't know why Mahindra stuck to that. And another big flaw which I find in the rear is that there are no AC vents, nor is there a charging socket. It's completely empty. Now, I'm not saying that the front AC is not effective in this case, but definitely AC vents should be there for better cooling for the rear passengers. Now we're behind the wheel of the XUV300, and I must say that it's a mixed bag actually. Good and bad. It has its own positives and negatives. So let me start with the positives. The positives is that the steering feel is really good. It's got variable modes, so it's got comfort, normal, and sport mode. I always keep it in sport mode ever since I've had the car, and it's really nice. In normal mode, it lightens up a little bit, and in comfort mode, it lightens up even more. Especially in slower speeds. On the higher speeds, it weighs up really nice, and in sport mode, it actually is really nice. Like the feel, you'd be really surprised that the steering feel is so precise for a Mahindra. So overall, I mean, it's a big surprise that even like, granted you have to put the steering in sport mode to get any feel out of it, but it's just so nice, and you'd be very surprised with the accuracy and the feedback you get while throwing this car around. Secondly, the engine is really punchy. It's the same engine from the Marazzo. So it's the same 1.5 liter, 120 horsepower, 300 Newton meters of torque. So in the Marazzo, it feels strictly adequate. In this, it feels really punchy because obviously this car is smaller and much lighter than the Marazzo. So definitely in this car, the engine feels perfectly powered. In the Marazzo, it could do with a bit more power because of the weight. In this, it feels perfect. Then coming to the gearbox, it's nice. It's got a very long throw, but it's very positive. It's not notchy. It's very smooth. Anytime you're looking for a gear, you'll always be in the gear. You won't miss a gear or you won't miss a shift, which is really nice to have in a Mahindra, because normally I've driven some old Mahindras, the Scorpio, the XUV500, and its gearbox I would say is not the best, but definitely this and the Marazzo have a very positive throw in the gearbox, and this is really nice. Now let's address the elephant in the room, which is the suspension. Now the steering feel, as I said, is amazing, but the suspension I am not so sure, because I feel that Mahindra has tuned it a little too soft. I think it's perhaps just way too soft for what it should be. I mean, when you're over a bump, especially on slow speeds, it's fine, but when you take a bump particularly fast, the car does tend to throw you around. There is very noticeable body vertical movement and lateral movement on bumps, which is a little uncomfortable, I would say, especially compared to how its rivals like the Nexon and the Brezza, they ride so fine. I'm surprised how soft this is sprung. I think this is even more softly sprung than the Creta, which is quite soft by industry standards. So this is quite soft, but as the speeds pick up, the ride does become really good, but it doesn't instill the confidence you have when pushing this car at the limit, which is really funny because you have the steering feel. The steering is just so motivating to throw it around corners, but the suspension does not inspire the confidence, and that's a big shame, I think, according to me. If they could nail the suspension tuning on this, it would be one hell of a car to actually enjoy driving in. As you can see, I just went over a mild bump, but there was so much body movement that the camera shook so much. That's how much movement there is, while even on small bumps, when the speeds increase, definitely it rides well, but then when you approach a bump, it shakes you up, and that is something which I personally cannot tolerate in this car. I mean, if they just nail the suspension, it would be so perfect. I mean, it would probably be a better handling and ride combo than the Nexon, but I'm afraid just because of this soft suspension, I believe the Nexon rides and handles much better than this. The seats in this car, I feel that they're a tad too hard. They could have been a little softer with the cushioning, and the headrest particularly is very hard. When you lay your head on it, it's quite hard. I mean, if you get pushed back onto it, it feels like your head is being pushed onto a brick or something. It's really hard. They could have softened that up. And overall, I mean, I feel that these little things that Mahindra could have done to improve the product overall goes a long way in improving the product feel. The seats themselves also, I feel the width is a little on the lower side. I mean, I'd say that I'm not a thin person. I am a little sizable, and for me, I feel like I'm absolutely on the edge of the bolstering, which is, again, I wouldn't say it's ideal. I feel that the seats could be more comfortable as they are in the Nexon. The Nexon has amazing, very comfortable seats. These are a little hard and not as supportive as the Nexon. I'm sorry I'm mentioning the Nexon very often, but I believe that this car's key rival are the Brezza and the Nexon. And I prefer the Nexon over the Brezza, hence I'm using the Nexon example a lot in this review.
Now we also got the Petrol XUV300. This has the 1.2 litre turbocharged 4-cylinder engine producing 110 horsepower with 200 Newton meters of torque. Let's see how this car is.
Let's see how this petrol motor drives. Slot it first, and you can see that yes, this car is turbocharged. There is very minor lag, but it pulls off the line very cleanly, very easily, and actually you can pull it off from second gear as well, like I am on a very tall speed breaker. I'm in second and it just moves. I think that's pretty easy to manage in city traffic. Overall, the drivability is pretty top notch of this engine. The gearbox is much smoother than the diesel unit. It's not as notchy. One complaint I would like to have is that the clutch travel is very long. It could be a little shorter, that would be easier to manage, but I think currently it's a little too long. Obviously it's very light, so that really helps matters, but it's a little too long. I think it can be a little shorter. Rest, the drivability is good, the pull is good, especially in second and third gears. The performance is really strong. Overall, the petrol engine I think is a better package than the diesel engine, and I think the suspension in this particular car is much more sorted than the diesel one, which is a little bit of a surprise. I don't know why. One thing I would like to also point out is that I know this is a media car and it's abused by lots of people, but it has some glitches, like the cruise control is not working, the volume button gets stuck. That's not acceptable in a 14 lakh car, but just some glitches. I know it's not a deal breaker, it can be fixed, but still, you know, it exists and it is very annoying. But I certainly hope this does not crop up into the customer cars, which is going to be really unfortunate.
To sum up the XUV300, it is definitely a good looker of a car. The proportions are perfect and it fits the sub 4 meter segment perfectly. It looks absolutely great. It's got great features too, like a sunroof and many other gimmicks like 6 airbags and touchscreen audio and the works. It's even got front parking sensors. That's something that's in the segment first. It's not something you see in this segment, but this car has it all. The touchscreen is really nice. It's got Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, all the works feature that you could ask for. Nothing else that's needed extra in this segment. The engine is really nice to drive. The 1.5 diesel is punchy, but the suspension was a big letdown. The petrol motor on the other hand was a big surprise. It really impressed with its driving characteristics, and weirdly enough the suspension in the petrol car felt better. Yes, there are online articles which say that the XUV300 had some issues with suspension in some initial batches of the cars. I believe that the diesel car I had was belonging to the initial batch of the car. The petrol motor was seemingly better and it did not have the suspension issue, so I presume Mahindra is working hard in the back end to improve things on their end, and definitely it shows There could be some quality issues that my petrol car had. I certainly hope that this does not crop up in customer cars. Rest, the car as a package is amazing. The boot space is really small, and I'm not really sure on the fuel economy of the car. I mean, the petrol hardly gave me 10 to 11 kilometers per liter in the city, so that's something you have to factor in. And lastly is the price. Now this car is definitely pricey. As I've said, it's in between the Nexon and the Creta, and it has been priced in that way as well. Whereas the Creta touches 17 to 18 lakhs and the Nexon ends at 11 lakhs, 11.5 lakhs. This is priced at 14.5 lakhs, so it's actually bang in middle of both of its rivals. And in that regard, you have to say that I think it's a little overpriced for what it's offering in this market today. Nowadays, there's lots of options. If a customer wants to choose a compact SUV, he has lots of options like the Nexon, the Brezza, the Creta, the Duster, the Capture, lots of options. So if the customer wants to consider the XUV300, it has to stand out, and I'm not quite sure it does. It has the features, but it is equally pricey compared to its immediate rivals like the Brezza and the Nexon. So is it worth the 1.5 to 2 lakhs premium? I don't think so. I still think that the Nexon is the most value for money car in the segment, and it's tough to beat that quotient. The XUV300 in standalone is a brilliant product, but I'm not sure if it's the one to have in the segment. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.